Hello, my name is Nigel Tan. I'm a graduate student at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and I am presenting my work on optimizing vector particle and cell for memory-constrained systems using half precision. This work was done in collaboration with Los Alamos National Laboratory. Particle simulations are an incredibly important tool for plasma physicists. Simulations allow physicists to explore and verify their experimental results. Particle simulations require vast quantities of particles to accurately model physical phenomena, with some simulations reaching in the order of trillions of particles. Due to the high particle count, simulation scale is more limited by memory capacity than computational capabilities. Accelerator-based systems exacerbate the scaling problem. A modern CPU can currently access up to 4 terabytes of memory, while a GPU is limited to at most 48 gigabytes. Data movement between the CPU and GPU is also very expensive, with PCIe 4.0 bandwidth being at most 32 gigabytes per second in one direction for 16 lanes. For instance, the Summit supercomputer has 4,608 nodes, each with 6 NVIDIA V100 GPUs. Each node has 512 gigabytes of main memory and a total of only 96 gigabytes of GPU memory, a roughly 5-fold difference in capacity. To address the scaling problem, we have developed a suite of optimizations to particle storage that enables significantly higher particle counts on memory-constrained hardware. First, let us take a look at the particle and cell method and the vector particle and cell project. Vector particle and cell, or VPIC, is a high-performance plasma simulation code that can model a variety of plasma phenomena such as magnetic reconnection and particle accelerators. VPIC is one of the fastest plasma codes in the world and has a history of large simulations, including the previously shown trillion particle simulation on the Roadrunner. VPIC is extremely well optimized for CPU architectures, but currently faces challenges on accelerator-based systems. The particle and cell method that VPIC implements models particle motion in a simulation space. The simulation space is divided into a grid of cells, and particles are distributed throughout the grid. VPIC is an iterative code, with each iteration being broken down into 4 key steps. First, particles have their positions advanced based off the forces calculated from the electromagnetic fields. The particle's movement creates current, which is accumulated to each cell. Next, the current accumulated from each cell is used to advance the electromagnetic fields. And finally, the electromagnetic fields are interpolated to the particle's position, and the cycle starts again. This repeats for a set amount of iterations. Let us take a quick look at VPIC's memory usage by category. As you can see in the figure to the right, the vast majority of VPIC's memory is dedicated to particles. In fact, particles can take up over 93% of all available memory. So to increase particle count, we must reduce the amount of memory each particle uses. VPIC's particles hold their position in 3D coordinates, along with their momentum in 3D coordinates, and the cell index where the particle resides in, and the particle's weight. Cell index is already optimal, and momentum would require significant algorithmic changes to reduce, so let's focus on particle position and weight. Particles in VPIC are actually macroparticles that model a collection of real particles. Particle weight defines how many real particles each simulated particle models. In general, particle weight does not change during a simulation. We can take advantage of this and reduce the amount of memory needed for storing particle weight. First, let us assume that particle weight may change but has a limited range with a common divisor. For example, all particles model a multiple of 8 real particles. In this case, we can change particle weight from a 32-bit float to a 16-bit integer representing a multiple of that common divisor. Alternatively, we can use the 16-bit integer as an index into a table of weights. This optimization reduces particle memory by up to 6.25% and allows for a large range of possible particle weights. Next, let us make a stronger assumption. Suppose particle weight never changes during the simulation. This means we can remove particle weight entirely and use a constant weight. This reduces memory usage by up to 12.5% compared to default VPIC. Next, we will address particle position. Particle position may be stored in either global or local coordinates. Global coordinates simply stores the particle's position in 3D and drives the cell index it resides in based on the coordinates. An occasionally overlooked property of the floating point format that introduces problems is that the values actually follow an almost logarithmic distribution. This means that points further away from zero are less precise, as seen in the figure below. VPIC uses a local coordinate system where particles store both the cell index in which they reside in and their position within the cell. Compared to global coordinates, this method increases the number of floating point values in the simulation space based on the grid resolution, and thus improves accuracy. Additionally, points are more evenly distributed compared to global coordinates. VPIC by default uses local coordinates and stores position in single precision. We extend this further by switching to half precision and using a sufficiently fine resolution grid to make up for the drop in accuracy. Other lower precision formats such as bfloat16 and TensorFloat exist, but each have their own problems. bfloat16 only has approximately 2.4 decimal digits of precision compared to half precision with 3.3 digits. It is a small difference, but when we are down to 3 digits of precision, every little bit matters. TensorFloat has equivalent precision but requires more storage space than half precision, negating much of the benefits. Thus, half precision is our best candidate. Our half precision optimizations reduces memory usage by up to 18.75%, and when combined with our weight optimizations, can reduce memory by up to 31.25%. Testing was done on an NVIDIA V100 GPU in a GPU-accelerated Power 9 cluster. Memory usage and runtime performance were tested using a laser plasma interaction deck set to use 16 gigabytes of memory. The scaling characteristics of VPIC are well studied, so this test is sufficient. First, let us look at the memory usage. The figure to the left shows the peak memory usage for default VPIC along with all our optimizations applied. The x-axis shows the total number of particles simulated. Our optimizations allow an up to 40% increase in the total number of particles. Our runtime test results demonstrate that our optimizations have minimal negative impact on performance. This is to be expected as our optimizations only require an additional conversion and/or multiplication operation. The half precision position optimizations in particular actually improve performance by reducing the amount of data to be moved. Lastly, we must ensure that our optimized simulations produce useful scientific results. After all, it doesn't matter if it's fast or big if it doesn't produce useful science. Accuracy is more difficult to test due to the lack of rigorous error quantification for particle and cell methods. We measure accuracy using a simple 1D problem with a known analytical solution. The test uses a grid resolution of 10,000 cells, and weight is kept constant to avoid affecting the accuracy results. As you can see, with a sufficiently fine resolution grid, half precision position maintains below 10% relative error across 1 million time steps, similar to the original VPIC. In conclusion, we have developed a suite of optimizations to VPIC's particle format that enable significantly larger simulations on memory-constrained systems, while also maintaining VPIC's high performance and accuracy. We have also demonstrated that reduced precision storage has potential applications in large-scale scientific simulations. This work notably focuses on reduced precision storage instead of faster computation, and uses characteristics of the simulation space to improve accuracy rather than methods such as iterative refinement. In the future, we will add CPU half precision support and investigate alternative number formats. Fixed point representation in particular could improve accuracy and thus allow the use of lower resolution grids compared to half precision. Additionally, we also plan on developing a model for deciding whether a simulation can use half precision based on the simulation's parameters. and also investigate lower precision particle momentum. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening. I will be available for questions.